recording. So today is January 8th and Team Renewal Zoom call. We're going to start out with a few announcements and then have some kind of information to share with you all. And then we're going to give a little bit of an overview of Super Saturday, those who were with us. We're just going to share a quick kind of what their big takeaways where it was an awesome time, and I'm going to then kind of recap what happened at Super Saturday. There's some cool announcements, some great teaching or instruction, whatever you want to call it. Mary and I got our pictures taken with Joel Freeman, woo! Which was cool. So anyway, couple quick announcements. We are making a big effort to be consistently doing Zoom calls, and they're going to be Sunday nights about 8:30. I might talk to Jen about moving it just so we don't want to go too late, and they will never last more than 40 minutes because that's when you have the free Zoom. That's all that they can last before you get kicked off. So please know that. Please plan that in your calendar so if you're able to. They're going to rotate. We're going to hope to have some people from our team start leading some of those sometimes, whether it's something you've been learning in personal development or an area of strength. We'll be doing that sometimes. Sometimes it'll just simply be chances for us to share together. Also, this month, our team, hey, Joyce, I see you. Yay.
Do you? I don't see anything.
No, I see you.
I see a black screen.
Well, maybe touch somewhere down in around your screen and see if anything.
Oh, there I see you.
Okay, great. Yay. Okay, cool.
Okay, you're left.
So for the month of January, our team personal development is going to be Eat That Frog. I don't have it sitting in front of me, but if you have the book, you've seen the chapters are very short. I think the first chapter is about 3 pages. On the team calendar that Jen posted for this month, there is basically like by next weekend, the goal is up to chapter 6, and then we hope to talk a little bit about some of that on the Zoom call. Don't be alarmed. Chapter 6 isn't really that much, but what I will tell you is at the end of each chapter has a little kind of application question or 2 or 3. So my advice to you is take it one chapter at a time, and take a chapter a day or whatever so that you're not cramming it in at the end. And that will really give you time to kind of think through it and apply it. It's really practical. I loved it because there was no fluff. I don't have time for fluff in my life, and most of you don't either. So one other quick announcement. Something that Jen and I are throwing around on the team calendar, when you look at it, you're going to see, I think the 3rd or 4th week of January is labeled an Advanced to Emerald training. But we're kind of, we're talking about that versus a Coach Basics training. Beachbody puts out a great training, and we haven't utilized it. A lot of coaches do. We just haven't done that yet. We developed, hey Jen, we developed that Coach Basics or manual of ours, but I think one thing that we're learning, we're all learning, that some people really love that. And it's very thorough, but for other people, that's overwhelming. So one thing we're tossing around is the idea of a monthly Coach Basics group. It's something that I think I'd like to put into practice, and essentially this would help you as you're onboarding new coaches as well in the future. But essentially the Coach Basics, it would be a group that you'd be in with other new coaches. This is developed not just for new, but those who are struggling, those who are looking to re-engage. It's not uncommon for people to kind of step back and then to step back in sometimes, depending on what life throws at you, babies that pop out of you, those types of things. It's been developed by some of the top coaches, and it's fun. I was looking through it. Some days it's like, hey, share in the group what flavor of Shakeology you're drinking. Share this. It's just giving you kind of the tools that helps you to focus on the 4 vital behaviors, especially inviting and social media best practices, with the objective that you're going to help you learn how to reach Success Club in your first month and continue to do that so you can proceed on the leadership ladder and just grow your business. And it's not pushing you to do something you don't want to do, but to give you the tools that you need in an environment that's kind of dynamic, rather than, hey, you have to sit there by yourself and work through something. So keep an eye out. I want to get to the other stuff, but I would love to hear from some of you too at some point. We're going to just kind of chat with some of you to see if that would be helpful. So first, let's celebrate. Everybody do a happy dance. Biggest team Zoom call ever. Woo! I love it. So Super Saturday, super awesome. Like I said in the post in the group, if you can get to an event, even if you live far away and you can't go with a group, it's such a cool dynamic at these events. Jen would attest to this, and anybody who was there. At this particular one, it was a pretty big one. Welcome. They do recognition of coaches and achievements and cool things like that. And it's neat just to see. And then Jesse Reagan spoke, and if he has a great training that both Jen and me and Stacy have taken advantage of and need to take more advantage of. And he talked about Facebook best practices, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Great presentation from corporate, which I'm going to encourage you to go to YouTube because I have a feeling they've already put it up and watch yourself. It's about 20, 25 minutes. Great announcements, exciting stuff. It's some really good teaching. And so then some different presentations came from there. So what I'd like to start out with, for those of you who were there, would love to just hear for you to share with the group, what were your top one or two or even three, somewhat succinctly, but takeaways, things that you felt, wow, I want to kind of internalize this and take this, apply it, maybe something that really struck you. So I'm just gonna, Stacy, do you mind starting, unmuting yourself and sharing? And I would, if I were you, have your pen and paper, because you might hear something from someone that you're like, oh, I want to remember that.
Hi, everybody. The first thing that was awesome that everyone will agree with, working out with Joel Freeman in person was amazing. Overall, it was just really motivating and inspiring. One takeaway for sure that for me, I want to be more specific with how I post and really who I am, because I want to reach out and connect with people who are just like me. The girl, the top coach that spoke, she said, you just really need to embrace who you are and be specific in your post about who you are. So that was my top takeaway.
Cool. Awesome. I'm just going to go around. Melissa, do you mind jumping in?
I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways truly was, to jump on what Stacy said, hearing from a top coach and knowing that she had to set herself up with, processes and procedures to make it work for her. And the one thing that I thought really stood out to me is just hearing from people who this isn't their full-time job. They do have other things, and hearing them mention that even as, the one that's a full-time teacher, she said she gets up in the morning, does her workout, and she intentionally posts about the workout with a video or a picture right then, and then doesn't think about her Beachbody business at all. And then when she gets home in the afternoon, she spends only an hour, again, on the Beachbody business before she sees her husband and gives the rest of the night to her family. So I liked that idea of, if you put the focus where it needs to be at the certain times, then you get a little bit more organization into that. So that's a takeaway for me.
Yeah, that's a huge takeaway. And she's a 5-star diamond coach. So that's actually on her presentation's on the video from corporate from Super Saturday. And it is well worth a listen because I took stuff away from it from that too. Cool. Beth, can you hop
on? I think what I really appreciated, number one, was the recognition with all the way from, just your coaches all the way to like the diamonds and star diamond coaches and stuff. I thought that was really cool how they had us all stand up, even if you're just starting out, they want to recognize that. I think that's great. Probably the biggest thing that hit home for me was when they said to really just kind of get to know yourself, like find your identity and stick with it, because I think that's for me my most challenging part is like, I'm not quite sure who I am yet, which sounds really strange, but I think that's something that I need to work on. And that is probably the biggest thing that stuck out for me.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Elizabeth, do you mind sharing?
Can you hear me?
Yep. And welcome to your first Zoom call. Woo!
Thank you. Glad it worked. I think there's two things that kind of impressed me about being there. One, just the diversity of all the different people that were there. I think I went with the mindset that there'd be all these, model-looking type people there who were all these fantastic coaches and just had everything together and were in perfect shape. But just to look around the room and see that there was such a vast variety of, age groups, body types, just all these different things. Was really just encouraging, and I thought that was really neat. I think something that I'm going to try to be intentional with and apply it to lots of different things that I have my hands in was, I don't know who said if it was the number 4 lady who was up speaking, or the guy who does the Facebook expert guy, but about just taking one night a week or one afternoon a week, like on Sundays, and coming up with my posts for the week and putting thought behind them and taking the time to be meaningful, and then scheduling them so that way each day I'm not worried about, oh goodness, I have to put in a post, I didn't do anything yet, and then scrambling to put something junky together or just something random together. But Sunday afternoon, sitting down while my husband's watching a soccer game, I can be sitting next to him, having quality time, but thinking out my posts and writing them and scheduling them, and then I don't have to worry about it or be on my phone in front of my family the rest of the week. So that was kind of helpful.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, Mary, your turn.
Yeah, lots of great takeaways, tons of notes. I think a few of my favorite notes were about just being able to connect with people effectively, adding how to add value, especially like when people like your posts, not missing that opportunity to connect with them, definitely responding to comments on your posts, but then also following up in a message and not putting any pressure on them to be like, hey, join my group. That's kind of too much right away. So I think I've gone overboard a little bit sometimes. Like, hey, you liked my post, join the group. No, I should just thank them for just supporting me and start a conversation and just kind of feel it out. And it takes time. It takes time to get to know people personally, and definitely find ways to stand out. And just by being you and being authentic, you're going to stand out, so don't hold back. With live video, which I actually really enjoy live video, it gets me fired up about coaching. And I know I look ridiculous sometimes, but it's okay. But anyway, having like a Q&A session with someone, maybe getting someone and maybe planning out some like really good questions, because you can do this behind a video, or you can do it just one-on-one with someone to find out more about who you are. Because I found that for me as a coach, really gaining confidence about who I am and my unique strengths and what I have to offer is a huge part of me loving coaching. Because I didn't really love it in the beginning, because I was just trying to fit the mold, and I wanted to be like Emily. So, because you're awesome. But now I'm me, and I'm happy with who I am, and I'm confident, and just another note was great. Like, don't hold back anything that might motivate someone else. And you'll find things, you all have something to offer, and just seizing those moments and really not holding back. So those are just a few of the main things from the first coach that talked. I forget what her name was. There were a lot of great ones.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And let's welcome Joyce, who came to Super Saturday thinking she wanted to coach and signed up tonight. Woo!
Yay!
So this is Joyce Conkle, and she's amazing, and we shared a bed together, and we really know each other well.
We struggled.
So Joyce, what were your big takeaways?
Oh, there was so much info. It was, to me, it was absolutely a super Saturday, exactly how it's titled. It was so incredible. There's so much information for me to learn. It's a little scary, but I know I have a great coach and a great team, so I don't have any fears. But I was so excited when I came back. There's just to have that many people in, like Elizabeth said, the diversity between all of them that were there. I anticipated all these super skinny, trim model, supermodel type, and it wasn't like that at all. There's all shapes, sizes, age, men, women, you name it, and that was neat to me. There was a lot of information to take, so I have lots of notes to reread and absorb, but I'm excited. So thank you for allowing me to go, Emily. Had a great time. Looking forward to April. I think it's 8. Maybe we can do it again.
Yeah. Cool. Love it. Hey, Joyce, one quick question. Is your phone still hooked up to Zoom?
It is, because I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
On my, when I closed out the phone, I couldn't hear you, so I don't know how to get the volume on my iPad.
That's all right. We'll work it out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have 2 things going here.
That's okay. That's all right. Looks like we have more people on the call. Cool. Well, this is great. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a little rundown of that, and I made some somewhat sloppy slides, but because I thought it might be helpful. So I'm actually going to screen share in a moment, and it'll take a second. But there were some great announcements. Hopefully you saw the slide, the picture that I shared in the team page. There's going to be new Shakeology flavors coming out. There are going to be 3 new programs coming out in 2017. So if you upgraded or you have the all access Beachbody on Demand, you will have access to all 3 of those programs, which is pretty spectacular. There are a couple other things that I forget, a big nutrition product and some different things like that. So exciting stuff. A new teambeachbody.com, which is kind of amazing because the website's not that, is a little lumpy, clunky. And then I think also some additions to the Coach Online office, which is also great. So I'm going to kind of give a rundown of some of the top things. For those of you who were there, this will kind of be a little review. And but I know as I was kind of putting these together, it was helpful. So give me one moment. I'm going to screen share here. And you should all see my screen at this point. And I'm going to give me one moment to, okay. So can you see my slides? Somebody can see? Okay, thanks. So Jesse Reagan, and chances are, I hate typos, but I was typing fast, so there's a chance that there's some in here. Little disclaimer. He talked about the 7 deadly mistakes of Facebook marketing. I actually snagged one out of here, so I only have 6 listed for you here. But his big thing, he does a big training on having a business page. And so his number 1 is not using a like page or a business page to grow your business. And what I would tell you just right off the bat, and I would imagine the others who have one would tell you this, but if you are going to have one, you need to learn how to use it, because you can't just kind of make one and decide to run your whole business from it. So I would, without really kind of understanding it. So if anybody's interested, I would imagine, I actually don't know for sure, but I would imagine that he is probably running a new training shortly. It's not cheap, but at least for now, apparently he said this won't be the case soon, but you will have access to it forever. But I think that might be shifting. So if that interests anybody wants to go through, do that together, I'm kind of looking at jumping back into it. So just a little thing. But the point with the business page, there's no ceiling for how big you can grow it. You project a professional image while connecting with a new cold market. Your warm market or your hot market's like the people, your immediate circle, sphere of influence. Warm markets, like those people in your kind of Facebook group that you already know. Cold markets, kind of people you don't know. You can schedule posts. It's a beautiful thing because we can't do that on our main page. You can do advertising, but you need to know what you're doing. You don't want to be the boost your post thing is not a good choice because it doesn't target anybody. We have the ability with a like page to strategically target an audience and to avoid being shut down. He did say, and it's important that everybody knows, technically you're not supposed to run a business through your personal timeline. Now, that's part of the reason why we talk about, rather than, hey, being super salesy, it's more about sharing and all that kind of stuff. What I will say is there are a whole lot of other, we see people really running businesses through Facebook all the time, but it is possible to be shut down. So that's part of the reason we want to be wise in how we post. The other reason is nobody wants a salesy Facebook or Beachbody coach. That doesn't draw people. So, at the idea of the heart behind it, I think when we keep that in mind, it kind of helps that. Mistake number 2. Yeah.
Hey, did you mention there's a 5-day free training this week?
No, I didn't.
Starting tomorrow, I signed up and I posted it in our group.
Wonderful.
So Team R&R, you can check it out and sign up. It's free. So I joined and I'm probably going to invest in training, I think. And is it true that you don't have to pay anything to start a likes page?
No, a likes page is free. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the advertising. As you learn, you do need to invest in that to really build it. Or you don't have to, but that's kind of, yeah. So thank you, Mary. That's very helpful. Mistake number 2 is not dialing in your avatar. And Angie Belmar talked about this as well. But your avatar is kind of the idea, and this is what Stacy was referring to, of really figuring out who are you talking to. Because we are not going to reach everybody. There was a point, I've said this before, but where I was like, oh man, I got to get some guys in here. And it's like, I'm not going to reach the guys. I mean, I have a few, I have some, but like, that's not who I'm best created to reach. So figuring out who do you best speak to. Think about who you were before you started coaching. Think about your close friends, your close family. And then when you post, make your post like you're speaking to that person. Angie Belmar, the top coach, she was talking about, she has a now coach, but friend. She thinks of who was that Lauren before Lauren became her coach. What are the magazines she reads? What are the things she struggles with? All those kinds of things. You can really tailor the way in which let's see. I can't skip to my next slide for some reason. Oh, there we go. Something's funny. Sorry. All right, here we go. So the next one is not doing enough video, especially live video. Facebook gives video an advantage over images. They will put it into feeds more. People engage more with video. It's perfect for personal branding. People recognize you, your face, your voice. Stacy actually said to me on the way home yesterday, she said, I think the reason why I really felt like I knew you, we'd never been in each other's presence, was because she's seen me in video. Part of it's, these types of videos. But also, when you hear someone talking and even the mess, and, half the time, if you've watched my live videos, my iPad falls over in the middle of it. And I just, get all stupid. And it's just like, you feel like you know people, and that draws people in, gives a personal connection. Mistake number 4, not connecting with your audience to ask what they like and want to see more of. It's a great way to do some research, to figure out, what did they want? What did they want to see? He talked about, remember, most people care about what with them in it for me. So just the idea, it's also a great way to up your visibility, because the more people engage on your post, the more they use your post. For an example, here's a post I did last week. I was trying to decide which shoes to buy. And if you look down here in the corner, 6 of 65. So I had 65 comments. Let's see. Hey, Joyce.
Yeah.
I think your phone are you holding your phone?
No, it was laying on the bed.
Okay, maybe it's not you. Somebody Is everybody muted? I was going to say there's just a lot of extra sound that I'm not sure where it's coming from. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. I just figured if I could figure out what it was. So anyway, so if you look, I had 65 people. Everybody wants to give their opinions. And actually, it was kind of helpful because then I was like, what did this person say? Because I like their style. So it was helpful for me, and it was just kind of fun. And I just pulled those pictures off of Amazon and went into pickmonkey.com, and I just made that in about 1 minute, and I used that. So let's see. Okay, we got about 7 minutes left. So mistake number 5, not posting enough or ignoring data. If you have a like page, you can look at the data for how much things have been seen and all that kind of stuff. But even if you're not using a like page, we want to aim for 3 to 5 times a day, not even mostly at all about Beachbody. But he recommended a swipe file. If you have a like page, I've been meaning to do this. Keep records of the posts that have done really well and reuse them after 3 to 4 months, because nobody's going to scroll down through your like page and say, what did she say 4 months ago? You know, people don't remember that. So share viral content and then reply to every comment. That might seem overwhelming. I didn't used to do that, but it's really not hard. You know, just even to simply say thanks or to respond back. I was telling Sarah Scott a couple of weeks ago, you know, if her post, she did a great coach announcement. And then she kept kind of coming back to it and commenting on people's comments, and it just kept popping back up, and I kept seeing it in my, you know, people kept commenting, which means it kept going into the feed. So, you know, keep going back to it. Sometimes if somebody comments on it in the middle of the afternoon when I know there is almost no activity, I will come back to that at 7 p.m. at night when I know more people are on, and then I will comment on it because I know that's going to kind of bring it back up into people's space. The last one.
You can, sorry to interrupt, but you can ask questions too to get them to keep going on your comments, which is good. Mm-hmm.
So mistake number 6, not truly providing value. This is huge. Give. If you read The Go Giver with us last month, and if you haven't, I would recommend it. It's an easy read. But giving, you know, from the bottom of our hearts, not expecting in return. But the last biggest thing to share is your story, and how you share it matters. I really like that. You are not a spokesperson for Beachbody. And I just added this. Beachbody is a platform that allows you to share you. So a couple other things that I just want to share. I'm going to stop screen sharing. But a couple little things that I want to pull out. I want to tell you to go, if you haven't, go watch the Super Saturday video, because there's some great things. I could pull them out, but you can go watch it and it would be better than from me anyway, just recapping somebody else's stuff. But things, the woman she's a teacher, full-time teacher, and how she fits it into her day in an hour a day. Eat That Frog is going to be really helpful for that kind of thing. Angie Belmar talked a lot about some of the stuff that Jesse Reagan did too. She talked about, you know, what makes you you? What is it that makes you specifically, your hobbies, passions, interests, family? That these are the things that people want to know. And she had some great questions that she said, you know, to ask yourself. And actually, I will go back to this one more time because I want to pull this up, and I'll share this in the team page. But, you know, as you're thinking about how to post, what struggles have I overcome? What inspired me today? I have told a bunch of you this past number of months have not been great for me, but it's been a good challenge of, okay, how can I take this situation in my life and put a different spin on it? Not to be inauthentic, but it helps me to reframe it in a positive mindset. What motivated me to make a change? What am I excited about? What is my biggest excuse? What is my plan to conquer it? How have I grown since yesterday? If you're struggling to post, these are great questions. Again, I'll post this because I know there's not a lot of time to write all those down. But one of the things that she talked about was, you know, also, you know, what are the things that make you tick? We talk about what are the top 5 things that make you you, but how would you describe yourself? On your Facebook profile, it doesn't need to say Beachbody Coach. You know, she said, actually, she described herself as a fit foodie. And I was like, ooh, I like that. I can relate to that. Like finding ways to describe yourself. And then I loved this. I think this was one of my biggest takeaways with how I can help you guys. So often, especially if you're not a big social media person, or you haven't been one that shares your life a whole lot, and that feels weird. People are always like, I don't know what to share. She used the phrase, and write this down: document, don't create, and always have fun. That's what I always tell people. It's kind of like just letting people into your brain a little bit. Like, if you follow me, I think that's kind of, mine's just kind of, if you know me, I'm a verbal processor. It's almost like you're just getting an inside glimpse into my head and my weird thoughts. But, you know, people like that. They want to feel like they know you. Be someone that, you know, really cares. Be who you are, but just document. Don't create. And that takes the pressure off. It's like, oh, I just thought of this great idea, and we share it. We don't have to share every aspect of our lives, but that's kind of a great little thing. She talked about, you know, after her workout, somebody mentioned this just earlier, Melissa, I think, stop, drop, and selfie. She's just like, that's the first thing I do. I do my workout, get my phone, as long as I don't have to attend to my kids or something. And my husband kind of is used to it at this point. It's just like, hold on, I gotta do my post real quick. Stop, drop, and selfie. So, you know, first thing in the day. But one final kind of thought for you, and I loved this. She talked about adding legit value and inspiration. And she said she uses the 1 in 7 method, but like for every 7 days, and I've heard other coaches say this too, that you've really added value and positive things, then you get an invite. Then you get a big kind of, obviously, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach, do you want to join me kind of post? Because by that point, you have gained the trust, you've gained the credibility because you're adding the value, and clearly you have a heart that cares. So, real quick, smile, stop, drop, and selfie. Team picture, 1, 2, 3, smile. So anyway, that's kind of the takeaway. It was a great presentation. Wanted to share those things with you. Stay tuned. So we're reading Eat That Frog Sunday nights at 8:30, 8:45. Jen, let's maybe talk. We could even shift that a little bit to make that easier for you. And Eat That Frog, keep an eye out for, Jen and I are going to talk a little bit, hopefully in the next couple of days, about the idea of Coach Basics or something like that. So stay tuned, because I think there are a lot of you for whom that would be really helpful. I think that's about it. We're going to get kicked off in just a moment. Anybody have any quick questions? All right. Sweet. Great.